As we explore France's economic foundation to discover the country's economic issues. France is facing enormous challenges, including high unemployment rates, slow economic development, and rising public debt, which might have far-reaching consequences. Stay tuned as we investigate these issues and explore their implications for France's economic future and global size. Chapter 1: Unemployment Woes. France is currently struggling with high unemployment rates, which are getting worse among its youth and immigrant populations. Despite significant attempts through government programs and labor market changes, the problem persists, casting a shadow over the country's economy. The causes of France's unemployment problem are deep and diverse. One key cause is strict labor market rules, which, although meant to protect workers, can inhibit businesses from attracting additional personnel. Additionally, high labor taxes and social security contributions might make hiring expensive, reducing job creation. Another critical issue is the education and skill gap, which is especially pronounced among poor youngsters and immigrants. The mismatch between the skills supplied by job seekers and those required by businesses contributes greatly to unemployment rates, particularly for individuals entering the labor force with little education or training. The French government has taken many steps to address these issues, including subsidies for hiring young and low-skilled workers, vocational training programs, and initiatives to eliminate labor market rigidities. However, the impact of these attempts has been small, and the underlying structural challenges still exist. Moving forward, addressing France's unemployment problems would necessitate a comprehensive approach that addresses the fundamental causes of the issue. This might include additional labor market reforms to boost flexibility while preserving worker safeguards, as well as focused measures to improve education and skill training to better meet job market demands. Only through such coordinated measures can France hope to considerably reduce unemployment and establish a more inclusive and active labor market in the future. Chapter 2: Economic Growth Constraints. France's economic growth is below that of its European peers, and it faces a slew of challenges that limit its potential. High taxes, strict labor rules, and bureaucratic difficulties are the principal barriers to the country's economic success. The cost of high taxes falls heavily on businesses and consumers, restricting investment and consumption. This depresses total economic activity and inhibits the growth required for sustained prosperity. In addition, while France's labor rules are intended to protect workers, they can impede employment and innovation. The burdensome bureaucracy exacerbates these issues by introducing red tape that slows down business operations and inhibits development. The combined impact of these limitations reduces France's economic potential, reducing its capacity to compete worldwide and innovate locally. Without serious reforms to remove these structural hurdles, France risks getting even further behind its European competitors and failing to realize its full economic potential. To overcome these growth limits, France must implement extensive changes. This includes streamlining the tax system to encourage investment and entrepreneurship, revising labor regulations to find a balance between protection and flexibility, and simplifying formal procedures to increase efficiency and production. By facing these difficulties head-on, France may create fresh opportunities for growth and competitiveness, clearing the path for a more promising economic future. However, reform will necessitate strong leadership, political determination, and a dedication to a sustainable future. Only through concentrated efforts to address these economic growth challenges can France reach its full potential and survive in the global economy. Chapter 3: Rising Public Debt. France's public debt history has raised concerns, with its long-term viability called into question. The constant increase in public debt is related to a number of causes, including excessive government expenditure and slow revenue growth, which we shall discuss in this chapter. The high amount of government spending has been a major cause of France's expanding public debt. Welfare programs, pensions, and healthcare expenses account for a large portion of total expenditure, driven by France's commitment to social welfare. While these programs are critical for social stability, they also put pressure on state resources, particularly during periods of slow economic growth. Another issue is France's very low revenue growth rate. Despite a progressive tax structure, revenue generation has not kept up with government spending. This gap has resulted in a growing budget shortfall, forcing the government to borrow more to fund its expenses, hence increasing the public debt load. The effects of France's rising state debt are severe. High amounts of debt can raise borrowing costs, as lenders demand higher interest rates to compensate for the perceived risk. This, in turn, can put an additional burden on state budgets, resulting in an endless cycle of debt buildup and increased interest payments. In addition, Excessive amounts of public debt might impair the government's ability to respond to economic downturns or other emergencies. With a large amount of its budget assigned to debt servicing, France may have less room to implement stimulus measures or invest in critical areas like infrastructure and education. Managing France's rising public debt requires a combination of fiscal discipline and strategic investments. This could include implementing changes to lower government spending, increasing revenue through tax cuts or economic growth measures, and enhancing the efficiency of public spending. By adopting proactive steps to manage its public debt, France can secure long-term economic stability and a sustainable financial future. Chapter 4: Global Economic Impact. France's economic problems go beyond its borders, potentially affecting the world economy and the European Union. As one of the largest economies in the EU, France's economic performance has a considerable impact on the region's overall stability and growth. A slowdown in France's economy could damage consumer and investor confidence throughout Europe, resulting in lower trade and investment flows. This, in turn, might have effects on other economies that rely on trade with the EU. Furthermore, France's issues could put a strain on EU unity, especially given the bloc's existing tensions and uncertainty. On a worldwide scale, France's economic troubles might intensify the international community's challenges. A weakening French economy may limit its ability to participate in global efforts and offer help in times of need. Furthermore, it may affect the strength of the euro and global financial markets, potentially hurting countries outside of Europe. Chapter 5: Future Outlook. The future of France's economy is at a crossroads, with numerous potential results depending on the country's capacity to solve current issues. One possible path is continuing stagnation, which is defined by consistently high unemployment, slow growth, and rising debt. Without urgent action, this scenario might further weaken France's economic position and influence. However, there is a more optimistic view if the necessary reforms and policies are adopted. One critical area for reform is the labor market, where increased flexibility could encourage job growth and reduce unemployment. Simplifying regulations and lowering bureaucratic challenges for firms may help boost investment and economic growth. In addition, France may benefit from a more strategic approach to spending on government, with an emphasis on investments that support long-term growth and sustainability. This might include more financing for education, research, and infrastructure, all of which are critical to boosting France's global competitiveness. In addition, France might use its strengths in innovation and technology to boost economic growth in the future. Supporting startups and promoting a culture of entrepreneurship has the potential to develop new possibilities and industries, thereby expanding the economy and reducing dependency on traditional sectors. Finally, France's economic destiny will be determined by officials' ability to implement big reforms and make painful decisions. By addressing its economic issues and embracing change, France can design a path to a more secure, wealthy, and secure future. France's economic challenges are complicated and multifaceted, needing careful consideration and decisive action. As we have seen, the country has some issues, including high unemployment, weak economic development, and mounting public debt. However, with the appropriate plans and policies in place, France can overcome these challenges and develop a stronger, more resilient economy for the future.